President Trump has threatened to take over D.C. if Janeese Lewis George becomes mayor, but it appears tonight the D.C. residents are placing their bet behind their fellow Washingtonian.
Lewis George is heavily favored to win the general election in November. Right now, she has 53% of the vote in the Democratic primary. Her closest challenger, Kenyon McDuffie, trails by 14,000 votes. He called Lewis George this morning to concede.
News 4's Paul Wagner leads our team coverage tonight. Paul, you heard from both Janeese Lewis George and Mayor Muriel Bowser today.
I did, Jim, and I spoke with the mayor. She told us that she had called Janeese Lewis George to congratulate her, and then we came here to Busboys and Poets at 14th and V Streets Northwest so that we could hear from Janeese Lewis George. She held a news conference, and she answered all reporters' questions for about 50 minutes. Virtually every news organization in the area was here listening to what she had to say. But of course, coming up, she still has to win the general election. Janeese Lewis George told reporters she thought her primary win came from early listening sessions with residents around the city on what they wanted to see in a mayor, and designed her campaign from there. She said the election was not about her, but about the people of D.C. and a broad coalition of supporters, the most diverse coalition in the city's history, winning 7 out of the city's 8 wards. Lewis George said she will not back down in fear of President Trump, but hopes to work with him and will certainly reach out when the time comes. As for how she won, here is Lewis George in her own words.
And I think people really resonated with a vision and policy plans to really address that affordability crisis. I think people wanted to make a very real stance against where we are in our city. As you know, many of our federal workers, thousands of our federal workers lost their jobs. Thousands of our families have been impacted by ICE and some destroyed by ICE. Our young people have carried the brunt of a lot of the focus and have felt wanting to be heard and seen. And I think what you saw is a community stand up and say, we want a leader right now who has moral clarity and the courage to fight back and stand up for D.C. residents.
Lewis George says she will fight for universal child care in the city and find a solution to the food deserts in Wards 7 and 8. There will be, she said, a nationwide search for the next chief of police. This morning, Mayor Bowser had this reaction to the news of Kenyon McDuffie's call to concede.
Listen, we're going to keep governing over the next 6 months, and on January the 2nd, pass off the baton of the best city in the world, and it will be in great shape.
Lewis George said that she will begin the transition, that is, after the general election. She also says she has no plans to resign her seat. She, of course, represents Ward 4 here in the city. She says she's got a lot of work to do in the city council, and she's going to keep doing that all the way up until the moment she's sworn in as mayor.